Hi ladies, my name is Olivia Del Borello and I'm from Inspire Women's Health and Fitness, and welcome to our free video training that we've put together for you. Basically I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. I started Inspire Women's Health and Fitness almost a year ago now. The reason I started it is because a lot of ladies out there that have these goals to lose weight, to get fit or to get healthy, and you get overwhelmed and confused by all the different types of information out there that sometimes contradict each other, and it can be very difficult to understand and to get to know what is right and what not to believe, I guess. And that the same goes with your exercise. Some of you might just be doing a few things but not getting the results you want. So same with your eating. You might think you're eating healthy, but it's about providing you with the knowledge that that gives you the best. The best. Then you know what to do, and you know how to eat, and you know that when you see things that say you lose 10 kilos in 2 weeks, that that's not an efficient and effective way of losing weight, nor is it maintainable. So that's my goal, is to get out as much information so you guys have the best knowledge as much as I can as possible. Today's video is not your usual fat loss video. It's more about the things that you don't normally consider when thinking about weight loss, but the things that have a massive impact on weight loss and achieving your goals. So if you enjoy the video, like it and share it. If you have any questions, post them down the bottom. Let's get started. So today what we're going to talk about is basically there's no certain way to eat and train. People can't tell you to do this and this and this to get results. There's so many different ways that you can get results. Then we're going to look at your good habits, those things that are aiding to your weight loss, and we're going to also look at the bad habits, the things that are hindering you achieving your weight loss goals. Then we're going to look at the do's and don'ts for weight loss success, things that you might not have considered, and beware of the magic pills. So there's a lot of things out there that promise you big results, but basically we're just going to talk about the reason why they don't exist and they don't work. So let's get started. There's no certain way to eat and train. What I mean by that is there's a lot of information out there that says if you want to lose weight, you have to eat a certain way, you have to train a certain way, you have to eat clean, lift weights. But if you find eating chicken and steamed veggies boring, or you don't enjoy lifting weights, then don't do it. Because if you don't enjoy something, then you're probably not going to stick with it, and it's going to leave you back to square one, feeling like crap and not seeing any results. Achieving your weight loss success is all about getting consistency. It's having something that you can do day in, day out that's maintainable for you. We want you to find something that you can stick with, because it's about, because if you're tired and you're exhausted but you have something to look forward to that you enjoy, you're going to more likely to do it. Whereas if you really don't enjoy lifting weights and you find it really boring, it's just not something that you love doing, when times get tough and you are tired and exhausted, you won't go, because you're just like, I just don't want to go. So it's all about and the same goes with your nutrition. If you're less likely to stick to a healthy lifestyle if you really dislike the foods you're eating. If you dislike them, don't eat them, because it's not going to be consistent, and you're not going to be able to maintain a good lifestyle like that. It's about finding the foods that have good nutritional value that you do enjoy, or making them into dishes and recipes that you do enjoy, because you are more likely to stick to it if you enjoy it. Pick an exercise that you actually enjoy doing. Whether it's going for a walk or swimming, yoga, just pick something that you enjoy and aim to do that consistently. Because, sure, there are things out there that exercises that we can give you that are more efficient, but if you don't enjoy doing them, you won't stick to it. So that's probably the biggest advice I can give you is pick something that you enjoy doing and just aim to do that. Don't think, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, because that should have, that exercise you should be doing, you might dislike it and you might do it for a week and then it phases out because you don't actually enjoy it. So you're better off picking an exercise that you do enjoy and just maintaining a consistency with that exercise. To lose weight, you have to burn more calories than you consume. But a lot of ladies fall into the trouble where they either cut their calorie intake too low that they're starving themselves, or they spend their countless hours in the gym to get that calorie deficit. I know this because, I've been there, where you think that these are your only two options. But you need to ask yourself, do I enjoy being hungry? Or, feeling deprived? Or, do I enjoy spending so much time at the gym when I could be out doing other things? Because if the answer is no, then don't do it, because you actually will be sabotaging your weight loss efforts, and this is certainly not maintainable and will lead to you burning out and not getting the results you're after. So basically it's not an all or nothing approach, it's a lifestyle. So it's not go hard for 2 weeks and then fizzle out and eat crap and don't exercise for the next 2 weeks. It's finding something that you can maintain over a long period of time, whether you only exercise 3 days a week. That's awesome. Or you find a healthy calorie intake that is still helping you to lose weight, but you're feeling good and you're not feeling sleepy and tired because you're not eating enough. When it comes to food and eating, you need to develop a good relationship with food. Too many of ourselves, I know myself included, you develop this love-hate relationship with food, where you eat something, let's say, a chocolate bar, and you really enjoy it, tastes good, but as soon as it's gone, you get that rush of guilt and anxiety, and that dread that comes on. That thinking, oh shit, now I've got to work that off, or shouldn't have eaten that. How many Facebook statuses do you see, after the weekend of people being guilty and, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. But at the end of the day, it comes back to consistency. These are things that you need to enjoy. You need to have that. You need to get rid of the mindset that there's naughty food and cheap food as opposed to good food. Rather, build up that relationship where if you do have some wine or chocolate, that you 100% enjoy it while you're eating it. Don't think twice. Don't feel regretful about it. Don't look at these foods as a reward. Food is food. Yes, we know that some foods have better nutritional value than others. But instead of thinking good foods versus bad foods, think to yourself, how can I eat today that will leave me feeling good about myself at the end of the day? Comes back to consistency. If it's not something that can be maintained as a part of a healthy lifestyle, chances are it won't last. So, instead of feeling, you work hard during the week, do your exercises, eat the way that it's going to make you feel good. But enjoy the enjoy the times where you do eat these foods, because that you've maintained a good lifestyle, and that this is a part of your lifestyle, and if you cut it out, you sometimes you end up wanting it more. So allow yourself to have it, and enjoy it when you do, because you've earned it. Alright, so this leads us to creating good habits and identifying the bad habits and changing those the bad habits for your good habits. One of my favourite quotes I like to refer to is, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." Most of us are creatures of habit. We buy the same foods from the supermarket, prepare the same recipes over and over, and we live within our own familiar routines. Habits can be, both negative and positive when it comes to losing weight. Have a think about some positive habits you might have. Things that seemed hard at first, but after soon after it became part of your routine, where now you do it without even thinking. Maybe it was getting up a few minutes earlier and packing a yummy, healthy lunch for work each day, rather than sleeping in and buying something that left you feeling like crap at the end of the day. Or, maybe it was starting your day with a 30-minute walk. At first it was hard getting up earlier, and sometimes it was cold or dark. But now you can just get up and do it without even thinking about it. These are some awesome habits. So, but now let's think about some not so good habits you might have. Have you noticed that every day when you get home from work, you find yourself pinging out from the pantry? Whether you're hungry or not, you open the fridge and indulge in the first thing you see. Or, maybe you have your mid-morning coffee and you always have to feel the need to have a few biscuits or a piece of cake. Or even just out of, eating out of boredom or eating because you're emotional. You need to get to know bad habits so you can put systems in place to change these habits for good habits that will leave you feeling awesome at the end of the day. If you're serious about eating healthier and losing weight, you need to shake it up. You need to change those bad eating habits and start to think differently about your diet and lifestyle. Because sometimes, you could be eating, really well and feeling really good, and you might come home and just fall into your bad eating habits that sabotage your efforts of everything you've done that's made you feel really good at the end of the day and leaves you feeling like crap at the end of the day. So, I know personally, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm more likely to opt for high sugary foods, that leave me feeling crap at the end of the day and craving even more sugary foods. So I try to combat this bad habit by making a conscious effort to get enough sleep and drink plenty of water throughout the day. You've got to get to know your body and your bad habits and what triggers those bad habits. The biggest key, I know some ladies, myself included, know that they need to do exercise in the morning because they've gotten to know that at the end of the day they're tired and less likely to do any exercise. So they create the habit of getting up in the morning and just doing it. Many people are sceptical about changing their diets because they've grown accustomed to eating and drinking the same foods, and there's this fear of the unknown or trying something new. Over time, habits become automatic, learned behaviours, and these are stronger than new habits or that you're trying to incorporate. So these bad habits, they're things that might have you might have had for a few years or most of your life. So could you imagine trying to implement good habits? Of course your bad habits are always going to try and override them because that's what your body knows and that's what your body's used to. That's why those who manage to change their bad habits can easily fall back into their old ways during times of stress. When you're feeling weak, vulnerable, it's that automatic response that overrides all those good intentions. Everything's been going along just fine, but you hit a rough patch. Your feelings of boredom, loneliness, depression, or any kind of stress. Being aware of these bad habits you want to fix. Figuring out why these bad habits exist. Figuring out how you'll slowly change your bad habits and eating and exercise habits into healthier new ones. Look out for the things that trigger these bad habits. If you know that when you're tired, when you get home from work, that you're more likely to indulge. Maybe just go out for a quick 15-minute walk, come home and start cooking dinner. Put systems in place to prevent the bad habits, so surely enough your good habits can override and become your norm. You're much more likely to be successful at changing your habits if you take one thing one step at a time. Try to gradually incorporate new habits over time, and before you know it, you'll be eating more healthily and losing weight. So that brings us to the do's and don'ts for weight loss success. So the first thing is think for yourself. Thinking accurately is the complete mastery of your mindset and the number one way to lose weight. It's having an openness to not having all the answers and allowing your current beliefs to be changed. Your thoughts are so powerful and they literally create your current reality. Thinking accurately requires you to separate facts from just information. It means you think for yourself and you allow your intuition to be your guide. Like, if a magazine or a commercial is giving you information about health that just isn't quite sitting with you, you don't have to listen. If an expert tells you something that is good or bad, test it before you adopt that belief. Instead of trying the method your neighbour tried or your mate tried, ask yourself, is that something that would feel good to me for the rest of my life? Health information changes so rapidly that if you adopt all the beliefs out there as truth, you'd actually go insane, because there's so many different things that it is so hard to keep up. You'd have conflicting beliefs. Choose wisely and remember, whatever you think or believe will be. What life do you want to live? Be determined with your habits. All of us have times in our lives when we run on autopilot. When this happens, we're depending on our habits to run our lives. And we've just spoken, for some of us it's a great thing. For some of us, we've already put these good habits in place. So when we do turn on to autopilot, these good habits automatically come into play. But for some of us, it's detrimental. If you're struggling with your weight, you're probably running running habits based on an overweight consciousness instead of your ideal body consciousness. So your job is to find what it means to be your ideal body. What habits you would acquire, how you would show up in the world, including eating, moving and being, and beginning running those habits immediately. Run those habits for the person you want to be and the body that you want and the health that you want. Don't run the habits of your current habits if you know that you're not happy with your current situation. At first, it will require to be extremely conscious. You have to be aware, but eventually your new autopilot will rock. If you attempt to ignore the habits that are running automatically every day in your life, you will effortlessly gain weight. But imagine if you switch those bad habits and effortlessly release the weight, because you've switched to those great habits that are forming an awesome new lifestyle. The last one for your do list is take action. This is quite possibly the most important task to master when you want to lose weight. It's also the step that most people skip over or kind of commit to. You need to decide that this is it, this is what you want. Without a decision, you're not all in, and you usually have a plan B, a plan C, or even a plan D. When people come to work with me, they will often admit that at first they thought, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just try this diet, or I'll just go back to doing this. But these people have not yet decided to win. You've got to decide. You can't just sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. But you've got to actually decide and go, no, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to get my life back on track. I'm going to do this and fully take action and go all in. Because if you truly decide, you don't think about the alternatives. You decide that this is plan A, there is no plan B, this is it. So therefore it's got to work. And you do everything in your power to make it work. It's time to make a decision, and if you feel slightly nauseous, a little shaky, or reeling with excitement, you're on the right path. This falls into do not procrastinate. It's important to identify what procrastination is when it comes into your body. It's a convenient way to stay exactly where you are, right in your comfort zone. There will always be reasons and excuses and circumstances to keep you from getting to where you want to go. At some point, you have to realise that there is no step in between where you are now and where you want to go. You just have to go for it. Also, look at why you're procrastinating. How many times have you said to yourself, oh, I'll start my diet on Monday. How many times? I know I've said it. I'll start at Monday. But in my opinion, it's always good to start a new lifestyle on a Sunday. You relax from the weekend and you've got plenty of time to organise and prepare yourself for the week. But if you start and you slip up, maybe it gets to Wednesday and you have a slip up, don't take that as an opportunity to say to yourself, oh well, I've already screwed up, I'll start again on Monday. No, Stop procrastinating and start back at the next thing you put in your mouth. Understand that there will be slip-ups. You're only human. And you are trying to implement good habits and trying to outwing the bad habits. But just focus, refocus, and get back to it. Do not lose your concentration. Concentrating your effort is the ability to focus only on what you want and not what you don't want. Positive and negative emotions cannot be present at exactly the same time. It's impossible. You have to ask yourself, am I more aligned with my negative emotions of fear, doubt, and worry? Or am I more aligned with my positive emotions? I can do this. Taking the actions and, believing that you can do it. Because your results will tell you the truth. When things are falling into place for you without even trying and everything feels like flowing easily and it's effortless, then your concentration and focus are in the right direction. The last one, don't expect an easy way out. For some crazy reason, we've created this belief that there is something as magical as a pill, a person, or a procedure in which you don't actually need to grow into your results. The truth is, nobody gets results sitting on the couch, watching TV and eating pizza. Nobody's going to lose weight for you. And if you don't make the effort to truly change, it will never work long term. Now this brings me to my last point. There is no question about it. We live in a very fast-paced world. News travels faster. We move faster. We've become accustomed to expect results and instantly, thanks to the world of emails, texts, and social media. It seems the question is, how can we do this faster? It's inherent in almost every task. From travelling to dining, mobile technology, we want results and we want them now. And we aren't happy when anything takes more time than we've planned. But, unfortunately, it seems our fast-paced society doesn't have time or doesn't make time to focus on well-balanced meals and exercise to accomplish this goal. We don't carve out an hour to go to the gym or go for a long walk. We don't slow down and in the supermarket to compare different nutrition labels or even consider all of the food groups when cooking at home. We just don't take the time to be healthy. Enter the appeal of the quick fix diet. We can change one small habit and everything will instantly turn around for us. Fast solutions. We move on to other tactical solutions which ultimately incorporate the blame game around specific food items. I hear it all the time, I've cut out carbs because they made me put on weight. Or I'm cutting out carbs because I want to lose weight and they're going to help me. We become vulnerable and desperate to lose the weight that we look for something that promises results and promises it now. We want results and we want them now. And, this says, doing this is going to get it, but is it going to be maintainable? Unfortunately, when it comes to weight loss, there is no quick fix. There is absolutely no pill that will make you lose weight, become more healthy, and feel more energized. It just doesn't exist. And all too often, we become desperate and fixated on getting the results we want now, without the hard work, without changing your habits, without doing basically anything. But let's have a think about it for a minute. Let's say, this magic pill existed. The one that says, shred inches off your waist, have you losing 10 kilos in 2 weeks. Alright, let's say it existed. And, let's say it worked. Fast forward 2 months' time, and I guarantee you would have put on all that weight back, or maybe even more. Why? Well, initially you put on weight either by creating bad habits. You were eating more than you needed to. You didn't have the correct knowledge on eating healthy, or maybe you weren't exercising regularly at all. Alright, well, maybe taking this pill, with taking this pill, none of this has changed. You still got all your bad habits, you haven't implemented any new habits, good habits. So, this magic pill, it hasn't taught you anything. It's just, say it's made you just drop the weight, but it's going to come back on eventually because your bad habits are still there. They haven't moved, they haven't changed. And it's only a matter of time before you return to your old self, but this time you're more depressed and you're more upset and you're less likely to ever achieve weight loss. because you think it's never going to happen, and all these thoughts of negative thoughts come into your mind, or it's just not for me, I can't do it. But if you want efficient and effective and lasting results, you need to do your homework. Don't just jump on the first ad that says they can help you lose 10 kilos in 2 weeks. That is just unrealistic and stupid. It didn't take you 2 weeks to put it on, so it sure as hell isn't going to come off that quickly, nor will it stay off. There are no magic pills, teas, liquids, or any other bullshit. They don't exist. Persistence and consistency wins every time. If you're looking at a weight loss program, you need to ask yourself, is this something I can maintain? If not, it's not for you. Sure, it requires some self-control and it will be hard, but if it's telling you to cut out whole food groups or even foods altogether, don't buy it. So we've covered a lot today. Basically, I hope you've got a lot out of it today. To sum everything up, weight loss and achieving maintainable weight loss success, it's all about creating it as a part of your lifestyle. It's not an all or nothing approach. It's small daily steps to get you to your goal. If you don't enjoy something, don't do it. It's about finding that consistency and something that you can maintain. So, pick an exercise and pick food options that you enjoy eating and just stick with those. Create your good habits and identify the bad habits in your life and the triggers that bring those on, and aim to work every single day to implement those good habits. It's thinking for yourself. Don't take anything as Bible. Determine your habits. So don't let your body run on autopilot and revert back to your old habits and forget about all your hard work that you've already done. Take action. As soon as you finish watching this video, say, that's it. This is what I want. I'm taking action. It's an all or nothing approach. It's not, if it doesn't work, I'll revert back and I'll just do this. It's an all or nothing approach. Don't procrastinate. Don't think, I've slipped up, I've got to start, next week. Start from the next thing you put in your mouth. Just do it. Don't lose concentration. Even if you have to do a vision board or, 3 things each day that you want to work on, just go for it. Align yourself and your focus and concentration with your positive mindset rather than a negative mindset of fear and worry and doubt. And don't expect the easy way out. There are no magic pills. It's hard work, maintaining a healthy lifestyle that's going to get you the results. So don't, look at these things as though, they're just a lot of crap. It's working on maintaining a lifestyle that you can consistently do day in, day out, through working on your good habits, through things that you enjoy, and getting your mindset right. Doing all these things will guarantee that you can work towards the weight loss success that you want. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I hope you've got a lot out of it. Again, if you've enjoyed it, please like and share the video. Post any comments below. For this week, I've got a few spots available for free fat loss strategy call. So if you are wanting to get started or you're stuck in a little bit of a rut and you just want to have a chat about your goals and where you're at and getting you to where you want to be, then click on the link below, enter your details, and I'll arrange a time with you that we can have a chat. You don't have to buy anything. It's not a sell. It's just, helping you to get to where you want to be. But thank you for joining me, and see you later. See you guys.